Welcome to the driver's seat. You are looking at the all-new 2023 11th generation Honda Accord Hybrid. We're extremely impressed. Honda has clearly been a major player, if not the leader, in mid-size sedan segments for the last 20 plus years. And now I think they've repositioned themselves at the top of the food chain once again. I would take this over a Camry, over a Sonata, over several vehicles. This mid-size sedan segment used to be a very relevant segment, the highest volume segment, but that's all been replaced by crossovers, which is unfortunate because I think Honda just nailed it. There's something special about a sedan. You can hide your belongings in the back, and it's just the way it drives, lower center of gravity. But the reality is that all of these internal combustion engine and hybrids are going to be replaced with pure EVs in the not too distant future, so enjoy it while you can. Like I said, they nailed it. I like everything about this vehicle, very little to complain about. Let's take it for a ride. But the bottom line upfront assessment of this vehicle is that Honda nailed it, and I would easily recommend this over any of the other competitors. You are now in the driver's seat of the all-new 11th generation 2023 Honda Accord Hybrid. We're just wrapping up a week with this wonderful vehicle. Really enjoyed it, and at a time when sedans are becoming extinct, and the reason I say that is when you look at General Motors and Ford and even Stellantis, which is Dodge and Chrysler, they've all pretty much abandoned sedans. You still see more sedans in the luxury space, but that's starting to phase out as well. So the primary competitors are obviously the Camry. You have the Sonata and the K5 from Hyundai and Kia, respectively, and a few others. So like with most vehicles in this segment, you have different drive modes, so we'll go into the sport mode. I'm pretty impressed with this vehicle. I think they've done a great job. As you can see, it handles quite nicely. I think from a styling perspective, this Accord is the best looking. I was not a big fan of the last two generations specifically. I thought they were, even the last three generations, not my favorite from a styling perspective, but they really nailed this. Very horizontal. We're now seeing this kind of vent honeycomb. We saw it in the Acura Integra, Civic, HR-V, and the now in the Accord. I think it's a nice design cue that Honda has here. Acceleration is definitely acceptable for a vehicle in this segment. So what Honda's done is the bottom two trim levels get the 1.5 with a CVT. The upper trim levels get the 2-liter with the 2-motor hybrid system. And that's going to be the only two powertrains available. So, and the reason Honda's doing this is, one reason, better fuel economy. You get about 45 combined in this vehicle, but also to kind of ease into the electrification. And they've already announced they're not doing any more development on traditional internal combustion engines, so everything is really going electric, like many car companies. And I can't wait to see the Accord electric. There are certain vehicles I'm excited about being electrified, and some I'm not, like Porsche 911. 911, for example, or Mustang GT350, but we know it's all inevitable. But when I look at this segment, hands down, this is today my top choice. Maybe it wasn't 6 months ago, but today this is definitely my top choice. And I can tell you why. Styling wise, I think it's the best looking vehicle in the segment. Looks very premium. They've really cleaned it up. No funky taillights shaped like, like two C's looking at each other. Just clean. Very, very horizontal, very linear, very clean, and I like that. It's a mid-size family sedan. It doesn't need to scream out with a bunch of elaborate and aggressive styling cues and air vents and whatnot. It just needs to be clean. It needs to be a decent performer, and haul you and your stuff around faithfully for the next 5-10 years. And I have all the confidence in Honda that they've accomplished that. A few things maybe I want to say I don't like. I don't like Google Assistant, but Volvo and other car companies are going this way. The new Chevy Colorado. I'm not a fan. You still have Apple CarPlay, but I'm not a fan of Google Assistant. I just don't think they do a great job. They've really cleaned up the IP. I like that. Look at this, a volume button. It's not a very big button, but I bet there was a lot of discussion at Honda about this. This is important. On-off and volume button. I need that. I want that. And thankfully, Honda delivered that. So, the gauge cluster is very clean. It's all digital. Everything about this vehicle. I like the steering wheel, nice and thick. And of course, we're in the top trim level, but they're all pretty nicely packaged. Seats are comfortable. Plenty of room. I like this blue color. It almost looks black in some lights, and in other lights it almost looks turquoise. So I really like when car colors have that ability to almost kind of morph into different colors depending on the sunlight. Just really a lot to like about it. I don't get very excited about mid-size sedans, but in this case, I gotta tell you, Honda nailed it. And the outgoing model just didn't do it for me. They sold a ton of them, but as we know, CRV and Pilot and HRV, that's really what's keeping the lights on, so to speak, at Honda these days. Sedans have definitely fallen back, but impressed. Enjoy driving it. I'm not going to be in the market for a mid-size sedan myself, but if I was, this would be high on the list. I mean, the fuel economy numbers are, almost Prius-like, and thankfully it doesn't look like a Prius. I think it's a very attractive sedan, and as you can see, very well laid out. One issue I have is the head-up display. I think they could have improved that, and it's really not that intuitive how to make the adjustments on that head-up display. I don't know why they don't just have a button. To me, that's an important driving feature. It's one that I like, one that I think many vehicles should have. I've never actually owned one with head-up display, but I think it's a great feature to help keep your eyes out on the road. They have it, but it's not easy to adjust. I do like this transmission much better than the one on the 1.5. It's a very whiny, kind of laboring transmission. This one's very smooth, good power delivery. You have almost 250 pound-feet of torque, so plenty of power, and there isn't a big delay, even on some of the dry twin clutch transmissions like the ones you find with Hyundai and Kia. you get some throttle response delay. I think Honda's done a great job of addressing it. I love what they've done with this vehicle. So for starters, all new sheet metal, much sleeker. You don't have all of these kind of odd design cues, in my opinion, from the outgoing model. Actually, the last 2 or 3 generations have been a little bit questionable with the styling. But this one is very refined, very sleek. Everything from the front, the rear taillight treatment, the vents on the inside, everything is very horizontal, very sleek, very linear, and I really like it. Although midsize sedans are kind of a dying breed, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, and a few others, Hyundai, Kia, are still building these, and they're still selling them. For some people, they still prefer a sedan, and why not? You have a trunk that can conceal all of your belongings. You have a lower center of gravity. It's a great driving vehicle. It's lighter than a crossover, so it's more economical. So there are a lot of pluses still for sedan. But the reality is, when you look at what Honda's doing, it's the same thing that other car companies are doing. When you look at this vehicle, you have the 1.5 liters, the base engine for the bottom 2 trim levels, but the 2-liter hybrid is the upgraded engine. They've eliminated the 2-liter internal combustion engine. So this is the upgraded engine, and it's wonderful. Almost 250 pound-feet of torque, about 45 miles per gallon combined, and this is the engine to get. You don't have that whiny CVT. They're using a 2-motor hybrid system that works flawlessly, and you don't really have that delay that you typically experience with CVTs. There are 6 trim levels. I mentioned 2 at the bottom and 4 at the top, and this is easily my top recommendation for anyone looking for a mid-size sedan with a budget of about $30,000 to $35,000. So, bottom line up front, what is my conclusion on this 2023 Accord? Thumbs up. This is easily my top recommendation. Camry is a fine vehicle. The Altima is no slouch. Sonata, etc. But right now, I think this is the best looking and best driving vehicle. I love what they've done with the packaging. Not a big fan of the Google Assistant, but the rest of it really works. And I think this is a sedan you could live with for a long time, and it will serve you well. I'm Ron Doran. Thanks for watching. See you next time on The Driver's Seat.